The first time she appeared, the air in the dream hung thick like fog rolling off a forgotten lake, and I could taste the damp earth on my tongue. She stood at the edge of a crumbling pier that stretched into nothingness, her dress a pale whisper against the gray water below. Long hair tangled in the wind that wasn't there, and her eyes wide, unblinking pools of shadow, locked onto mine as if she'd been waiting for years. I didn't know her, not from waking life, but in that suspended moment, she felt carved into my bones. Her lips moved without sound at first, forming words that clawed their way into my skull. "Wake me up," the plea echoed, not in her voice, but in the creak of the pier's rotting boards, in the lap of water that smelled of rot and salt. I reached out, my hands slicing through the mist, but she recoiled, her fingers twisting into claws that scraped the air. Then the dream shattered, and I jolted awake, sheets twisted around my legs like restraints, heart hammering against ribs that felt too fragile. The clock glowed 3:17 a.m., the witching hour they call it, though I never believed in such things until her. Sleep evaded me after that, a thief slipping through cracked windows. I'd lie there in the dark, staring at the ceiling fan's lazy spin, its blades whispering accusations I couldn't name. By dawn, exhaustion pulled me under again, and there she was, not on the pier this time, but in a room that mirrored my own bedroom, down to the faded wallpaper peeling like sunburnt skin. She sat on the edge of the bed, knees drawn to her chest, rocking in a rhythm that matched the fan's hum. Her skin glowed faintly, as if lit from within by dying embers, and when she turned, those eyes pinned me in place. "Please," she mouthed, the word blooming in my mind like ink in water. "Wake me up. It's coming." What was coming? I tried to speak, but my throat closed like a fist, and the room tilted, walls buckling inward. Shadows pooled in the corners, thickening into tendrils that snaked toward her, brushing her ankles with fingers that weren't fingers. She screamed then, silently, a rending of the soul, and I woke gasping, the taste of iron on my lips from where I'd bitten my tongue. Outside, rain hammered the window, relentless, as if the sky itself wept for what I couldn't grasp. Days blurred into a haze of fatigue, coffee turning bitter in my mouth, mirrors reflecting hollow cheeks and eyes ringed in bruise purple. Work became a distant echo. I'd nod through meetings, words from colleagues sliding past like rain on glass, while her face haunted the edges of my vision. A flicker in the rearview mirror on the drive home, a silhouette in the steam of the shower. I told myself it was stress, the kind that festers when life unravels thread by thread, but deep down, a splinter of dread lodged in my gut. That night, the dream pulled me deeper. No gentle fade but a violent yank into abyss. She waited in a forest of skeletal trees, branches clawing at a moonless sky, ground soft underfoot with leaves that crunched like breaking bones. She ran toward me, barefoot, dress torn at the hem, mud streaking her calves. "Wake me," she gasped, voice finally breaking free, raw and childlike, laced with something ancient. "Before it finds me again." Her hand grazed mine, cold, so cold it burned, and in that touch, flashes assaulted me. Glimpses of her curled in a coffin of roots, dirt sifting into her hair, whispers coiling around her throat like smoke, a shape in the underbrush, tall and faceless, its footsteps echoing her pleas. I pulled away, terror rooting me, and the trees leaned in, bark splitting to reveal eyes that watched. Waking came in fragments, sweat-soaked and shuddering, the alarm blaring like a siren. But as consciousness clawed back, I swear I felt her fingers linger on my skin, a phantom chill that raised welts like frostbite. I started avoiding sleep, pacing the apartment until muscles screamed, chugging energy drinks that buzzed uselessly against the weight in my eyelids. The world sharpened in unnatural ways, streetlights pulsing like heartbeats, shadows stretching too long at dusk, conversations laced with double meanings I couldn't decipher. Friends noticed, their concern a mask for pity, but I waved it off, retreating into solitude where her voice could echo unchecked. In the quiet hours, I'd sketch her on napkins. The curve of her jaw, the hollows beneath her eyes, the desperation etched in every line. "Why me?" The question gnawed, unanswered, until exhaustion betrayed me on the couch, head lolling against threadbare cushions. The dream enveloped me like oil, slick and suffocating, depositing me in a house of warped floors and doors that led nowhere. She huddled in a corner of what might have been a nursery, walls papered in faded florals now stained with something darker, like spilled wine or old blood. Rocking again, that infernal rhythm, she lifted her head, tears carving tracks through grime on her cheeks. "You have to wake me," she whispered, urgency cracking her voice. It's closer now. It knows you're listening. Listening to what? I knelt beside her, the floorboards groaning under my weight, and for the first time, she touched me willingly. Her palm to my chest, over the frantic thud of my heart. Heat bloomed there, unnatural, spreading like fever, and visions flooded. Her drowning in shallow bathwater that turned to tar. Fingers, too many, prying at floorboards beneath her bed. A lullaby sung in tongues that twisted the air. Promise me, she begged. Nails digging in, drawing beads of blood that welled black in the dim light. The nursery doors rattled, something massive hurling itself against them, with splintering like laughter. I wrenched free, bolting upright on the couch, the sketchbook fallen open to her face, now smudged as if by tiny, insistent hands. Paranoia took root then, weeds choking the garden of reason. I'd catch glimpses and reflections. A pale face behind mine in the bathroom mirror, vanishing when I spun. Footsteps trailing mine down empty halls, soft and deliberate. Sleep became the enemy, but the body rebels, dragging me under despite protests. That descent was brutal, a spiral into velvet black where she waited not alone, but surrounded. The setting shifted to an endless hallway of mirrors, each pane reflecting her terror multiplied infinitely. She pressed against one, palms flat, breath fogging the glass in frantic bursts. "Wake me up," she cried, louder now, the words reverberating off unseen walls. "It's inside you now." Inside me, dread coiled tighter, and I approached, my reflection warping beside hers. Eyes darkening, veins threading black beneath skin. Her gaze flicked to it, horror dawning. "Fight it," she urged, fingers curling as if to reach through. But the mirrors cracked, spiderwebbing outward, and from the fissures poured ink-black rivulets that pooled at our feet, rising like tide. Shapes formed within, elongated limbs, gaping maws, and they hungered for her, lashes whipping the air. One coiled around her wrist, yanking her back, and her scream tore through me, a blade to the core. I pounded the glass, fists shattering illusions, shards embedding in flesh, warm blood slicking my knuckles. Awakening hurled me into agony, cuts real and weeping on my hands, the living room lit by dawn's indifferent glare. I bandaged them in the kitchen, trembling, the faucet's drip mimicking her pleas. Desperation birthed madness. I scoured the internet in the small hours, fingers flying over keys slick with sweat, chasing fragments of folklore on dream hauntings and trapped souls. Stories of liminal spaces, of entities that feed on the unwoken, blurred into conspiracy threads where users whispered of girls who begged from beyond. No answers, only echoes that mirrored my unraveling. By evening, the apartment felt alive, walls breathing in shallow sighs, furniture shifting when unobserved. I collapsed into bed, not from fatigue but defeat, and the dream claimed me swiftly, a predator's pounce. She stood in a field of wilted wildflowers under a sky bruised purple, wind whipping her hair into frenzy. No fear in her stance this time, only resolve, arms outstretched as if to embrace the storm. "Tonight," she said, voice steady, cutting through the gale. "Wake me, pull me through." How? The question died unspoken as she closed the distance, her body pressing against mine. Warm now, vital, lips brushing my ear. "With everything you have. Don't let go." The ground trembled, fissures snaking outward, and from them erupted roots like veins, pulsing with foul ichor. They lashed at her legs, coiling, dragging, and she clung to me, nails raking my arms in bloody furrows. I held on, muscles burning, as the world inverted, sky to soil, flowers to fangs, and the thing beneath roared, a sound that flayed sanity. Her eyes met mine, pleading, promising, and I pulled, heaved, reality fraying at the seams. Waking exploded in white-hot pain, body convulsing off the mattress, her weight. No, the echo of it crushing my chest. Gasping, I scanned the room, shadows dancing in the lamplight, but she wasn't there. Or was she? A dent in the pillow beside mine, faint and warm. The line between dreams and waking dissolved after that, a veil torn asunder. I'd blink awake only to find petals scattered on the floor, wilted, thorn-pricked, or hear her humming from the vents, a melody that soured the air. Objects moved. The sketchbook flipped open on its own, pages filled with frantic scrawls not in my hand. Doors left ajar, cold drafts carrying whispers of closer. Sleep came in fits, each one a deeper incision into the nightmare. She appeared fractured now, body pieced from shards of previous visions, pier dress fused with nursery wallpaper, forest mud caking her hair. "It's breaking free," she sobbed, huddled in a boat adrift on oil-slick waves. "Because of you." Me? Guilt surged, bitter as bile, and I reached for her again, boat rocking violently as tentacles breached the surface, suckers lined with teeth that gnashed. One latched her ankle, drawing blood that bloomed crimson on black, and she thrashed, kicking free only to snag my sleeve. "Wake me! Damn you!" Fury laced her tone, eyes flashing accusation. The boat capsized, water closing over us, lungs burning as I kicked toward light that wasn't light but her. Glowing, beckoning. Surfacing, I broke into the bedroom, choking on phantom brine, mattress sodden as if flooded. Salt crusted my lips, and in the corner, a puddle darkened the carpet, reflecting her face upside down, mouth agape in silent scream. I stopped fighting it then, embracing the abyss, for resistance only sharpened its teeth. Nights bled into days, reality a fragile construct punctured by her intrusions. A handprint on fogged glass, small and desperate. Scratches on my door from inside, as if she'd pounded to escape. The final dream, or was it the first true one? Unfolded in a void stripped bare. No props, no scenery, just us suspended in endless gray. She floated before me, translucent, veins visible like rivers of mercury beneath skin. Now she breathed, extending hands that passed through mine at first, then solidified in a grip of iron. Pull. I did, with all the frayed remnants of will, muscles straining against intangible weight. Something resisted, a pressure building from within my chest, ribs cracking under assault. It clawed upward, through throat and jaw, forcing words from lips that weren't mine. Guttural chants in languages long dead, promising oblivion. Her face contorted, not in pain but triumph, as she yanked harder, her form solidifying, pulling free inch by agonizing inch. The thing inside me howled, a vortex of rage and hunger, manifesting as smoke that poured from my mouth, coiling around her like jealous lover. "No," she snarled, teeth bared, and with a final heave, she tore loose, emerging not beside me, but into me, a collision of essences that shattered the void. Waking, if it could be called that, dawned in screams that weren't mine. I staggered to the mirror, face my own yet altered. Eyes widened to her impossible depth, lips curved in her faint, knowing smile. The apartment reeked of ozone and earth, petals wilting in corners, salt trails snaking across floors. She moved within, a passenger or pilot, her thoughts brushing mine like silk over razor. Memories not hers flooding. Childhood attic where shadows whispered secrets. A fall from grace into sleep eternal. The entity that claimed her, a devourer of dreams, now evicted but raging in the ether. We did it. Her voice echoed internally, laced with exhaustion. But victory soured quickly. The mirror fogged from breath not fully mine, and in the condensation, words formed. Not awake. Still dreaming. Panic surged, mine and hers entwined. As the room flickered, walls dissolving into pier, forest, nursery in rapid cuts. The entity returned, not as shadow but form. A colossus of writhing limbs and voids for eyes, birthed from the cracks in perception. It lunged, and we ran, feet pounding boards that gave way to soil to waves, her guidance steering through labyrinthine horrors. Endless it became, this chase through layered unreality, her pleas inverted now. Don't wake up. Stay with me. But the body faltered, synapses firing erratically, collapsing in heaps of limbs that twitched with dual intent. Visions overlapped. Her drowning anew, my reflection grinning with too many teeth. Roots and snaring ankles while tentacles lashed overhead. We fought as one, her cold fire tempering my faltering heat, hurling back the beast with improvised weapons. Shards of mirror for blades, lullabies twisted into curses. Yet it adapted, mimicking her form to sow doubt. A doppelganger whispering seductions of release, promising solitary sleep if I'd but let go. I faltered once, hand trembling toward the illusion, but her true essence flared within, scorching the lie to ash. Together, she urged, and we pressed on, the void contracting like a dying star. Dimly, awareness pierced the turmoil. External stimuli bleeding in. The blare of traffic beyond walls that solidified briefly, the acrid scent of burnt toast from a forgotten stove. The entity sensed the breach, redoubling fury, its maw unhinging to swallow worlds. In that maw, we glimpsed eternity.